why it's called the nervous system. Have you ever wondered why the nervous system is called that? Sometimes you might think, I wonder what that even means, because I did. But today I'm going to talk about why it's called the nervous system and the implications of CSAE survivors and what they were never told. I'm Toyino Kanuga. I am your host. I'm Hush to Roar. Yes, that's me through and through. And all these topics that I deliver are to do with CSAE survivors, childhood sexual abuse and exploitation survivors. And it's so vital that we talk about these things because of what I'll be speaking about in a lot more videos. But today it's about the nervous system. Everything is about the nervous system and the vagus nerve specifically, but the entire body. So, as I've said, when we speak about the nervous system, most of us, like I didn't know so many years ago what that was. I didn't even think I had it in my body until I started my healing journey. The nervous system, why is it called that? So the nervous system is a Latin word, nervous. It's derived from a Latin word, nervus, Nervus. And that means in Latin, vital connections. So the nervous system is vital connections. And I am going to qualify that by saying today, let's talk about the inner vital connections. And when we say inner vital connection, that means wiring that is happening inside our body that we do not even know is happening. But most importantly, subconsciously, it's there and it's automatically being driven. In fact, the nervous system, the whole holistic framework of it is autonomous nervous system, so ANS, and it has two branches, parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system. I did mention this in the last video. So why is this connected to CSA survivors specifically? If you have been abused or someone you know has been abused, the first thing that goes is your breath. I always say that. So we've got to get that breath back. Why? Because that's the engine oil. That's the fluid. That's the thing that makes the nervous system work properly. Now you say, is there any evidence for that? There is vital evidence for it. So as I said, the nervous system means vital connections. And that's why if someone has been abused, the very thing that's gone is their breath. And that has affected the inner works of their body. And this does not mean that the nervous system is weak. It means, oh my word, the body is so wise. It does exactly what it's meant to do. Why? Because that nervous system, our nervous system, your nervous system, it asks two questions. Am I safe? Or do I need to protect myself? Now, those two vital questions mean everything. Because what that means is that when someone has been abused, automatically you know that they are no longer feeling safe. And their nervous system has asked that question and the brain has connected it back to say, no, you are not. And what state do they put themselves in when that question is asked and answered through the body? When they say, no, I'm not safe, the body says it. That means that their sympathetic nervous system is hypervigilant. Why? Because the two questions are, am I safe or do I need to protect myself? And when you say you need to protect yourself, it means you are going to be at alert. Your sympathetic nervous system is going to be at alert. And that means that you are at a heightened level of stress. But when it comes to abuse, it goes more than stress. It is an overwhelm of your body. In other words, what your body was never prepared, ready, or expecting to happen to you is happening. And when this happens, the brain will now take over and say, right, I need to protect you in this moment. And I said in the other video, if you watch the first video, you see that I said you shut down, you fight, you flee, if those are the situations that you can indeed carry through. So, in childhood sexual abuse and exploitation, the nervous system doesn't break. It becomes exceptionally intelligent. In other words, it does everything in its power to make sure that you are safe. However, if the violence or if whatever is overwhelming you is too much for your body to contain, it will shut down so that you are almost coming out of your body, as I mentioned in my other video. So the nervous system is that very system that is responsible for that response. And I'm just staying here with what it means and why it's called that, vital connections. So the nervous system starts to learn how to survive when there is no escape. It learns to go quiet, to freeze, to numb, or to stay alert. And this, I will emphasize again, which I mentioned in one of my videos, is not because the child is weak, but because the child is so brilliant, the nervous system is so intelligent that it knows the exact response to give in that moment. Because the nervous system has answered the question that, am I safe? Or do I need to protect myself? And it's the protection, which is sympathetic nervous system, that has taken over, and the safety element, which is the parasympathetic nervous system branch, will shut down. In other words, you are offline. You are in survival mode. So anxiety, hypervigilance, dissociation, these are not flaws. They are survival strategies that once kept a child alive. That child has done a brilliant job with its nervous system in the situation the child found him or herself. So hope plus authority has gone in that moment. The authority that's there is from the brain, the nervous system. The nervous system is named that way because it noticed what was happening to that little body. And what was shaped for survival can be gently reshaped for safety. And that's why you have me here today. So healing begins when we stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking what? As my notes will say here, what did my nervous system learn? My nervous system learnt, be still, run, or fight. But as a child, we know that the only option then was to just stay quiet. If it's okay and if you're comfortable, can I invite you to place one hand on your chest and another on your tummy? I'd like to take deep breaths, because why? We need to get our nervous system back to flourishing state. This is how our nervous system started off. Even if you had conditions at birth, it was at that state of flourishing with care, with a CEO to even make you stable, even with unfortunate deficiencies at birth. A CEO meaning a connected, empathic other. But when life overwhelms this beautiful tree, which is the vital connections, it moves into being drained, the breath, water, and then it starts to lose its vibrancy, its vitality, its voice that needs to be restored. Why? Because a wound has been created, which is indeed trauma. The Greek interpretation of wound is that trauma. And that's the branch. It's a twist. This is what happens to the nervous system when it gets what? Compromised. Like this. The vital connections are twisted. Now we have a mammoth task to untwist those vital connections to get them back to vitality. And you might say, I've said all those, where do I go from here? Let's start with a breath. Breathe in diaphragmatically, where your tummy expands and your chest doesn't just after the tummy. Simultaneously, the chest will then come out. Let's do this. You breathe in, hold for 4. You breathe in for 4, hold for 6, and then exhale, double the intake, which is 8. Let's do this 3 times. Again. However you may feel comfortable to do that. Later in these series, I'll say which method I believe might be an appropriate one, but there are so many breathwork techniques that no two are the same or one better than the other. But for now, you can just breathe how you know how. And look at these flowers, like in this moment, it's these flowers that you can see, nothing else but these flowers in this moment. You are here. In this moment, you are present here. And I'd like to just add 2 more things for your daily routine if you can. This is what's helped me. And if you want to know more about my story and why I know I'm qualified to support you in this journey, you can get my Hush to Roar, my memoir, my bestseller. That tells you everything about it. This is my story. This is my life that I share with you, that I've used to heal, continuously healing, and also support you and give you hope that healing is possible when we put in the sustained effort to. And you've got to want to. So yeah, that's it for today. The 2 things I'd like you to add to your routine would be deep breaths every morning, exercise, and something cognitively challenging like reading or journaling. And you might think journaling is not cognitively challenging, but if you've never done it before, it might start like something that has to be embedded as a new habit. So those 3 things: breath work every morning before you do anything, breathe. I take 9 deep breaths, but even just 1, just not making it automatic is good. So 1 deep breath. Exercise, because we need to discharge that energy that was lodged in the body. That's why we are exercising, amongst all other beautiful benefits. But just remember that the undischarged energy needs to come out through physical movement for the circulation and for the vital connections that got twisted to unwind and to flourish again, because that's who you are and that's who you're going to become. So remember, your inner child It has a voice. Don't suppress it. Let it roar. I love you and take care.